Yo, what's going on, guys? This is Brother Kane back at you with another video today. And today's video, we're gonna do a no face created content. Um, right now, it's only because I'm having problems with my PC right now, so I can't really use my actual cam recorder to record anything here. So right now, until I can get that taken care of, I'm using my mobile phone to create videos. So I'm gonna try not to have to worry about diversing back from front camera to back camera and all that stuff. But as you can see right in front of you, I have worked on this belt for a couple months and finally finished. Now this was a championship belt request made from a friend of mine, and believe me, as you can probably see, that there may be a few mistakes on here. I'm still trying to get used to making belts because this is probably one of my first times actually trying to dwell into it and actually understanding, knowing the ways of making it. Now, there are plenty of ways of making it, obviously. Everyone has their own ways. Obviously, I have mine, and I don't have the tools, the materials that others have. So I have to do it in a way that makes it easier for me. So for this, as you can see, let me just take it off real quick so you guys can see it. So here you can see the small plates. So you guys can probably tell I didn't draw any of this. Nope, did not draw none of this stuff on here. So all this stuff that you see on here was all paper. And then I actually had some styrofoam underneath and used some gold, I guess like gold tape, basically. Taped around it. So trying to make too much of my, I guess, not mistakes, but plans, I guess you could say. So I got the snap-ons here, as you can see. These ones are the 7x2s, the 2x7s. So you can see the 7s along right here. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, 8, my bad. I don't know why I said 7. I'm at 5. I miscounted. So yeah, you can see that there's the 2x8s right here. There we go. And then for the big part, the big plate. There we go. So for the big plate, so I got some of these gem stickers, more so, from Michael's and I believe Hobby Lobby. So I kind of diverse between both of them. And they're both near where I stay at, so it's convenient to have a nice, good art crafting store where I can go and buy stuff that I need. And I got a good bit of them, especially these particular ones, because I know these ones I needed a lot of for all plates, for the main plate and then the 2 side plates on each side. So, and then I couldn't find the particular ones for this part, so I just used these, and they work phenomenally, actually. And I know what you're gonna ask: is this a spinner? No, it is a spinner belt, but it doesn't spin. Like I said, this is my first time making this type of belt, so that's something I'd have to actually dive deep into and figure out how to make. Now with the P, I kind of screwed up on a bit because of the fact that I was going to use this, but I wasn't sure how exactly to make it so that way it actually sparkled. So I figured if I just sprinkle all this on here, kind of get everything where it needs to be, and then just glue it it should stay. So that's kind of what I did. But then after, like I said, after a while, when I started getting into it, I was like, oh, I could have just used these little gem stickers and then just stick them on like this. Now I did use glue before I stick them on because there were incidents where they would come off easily and didn't want that happening. So I did that with all of them. So the C, the H, the A, and the M, did all of that. And then, of course, I got the red gem stickers, which obviously were like the easiest since they already have a spot of their own to put in. And then that's my friend's name that I'm sending the belt to whenever he responds. So that's that part. So I did the deluxe version instead of the normal WWE spinner belt version, which had this particular part on both sides, I believe. I think it was this one, this part on this side, and then this on the other side too as well. But I decided I was going to do the deluxe version and add this part in. Yeah, I wanted to add this particular plate in. Just make it different, you know? So I didn't really have an idea for this part, but I just assumed that I could just use the smaller gem stickers for this, and it came out good. But at the same time, I don't have anything like super small that would have been able to connect to all of them, so it may look a little different or difficult to notice the letters and stuff. So I apologize for that. So I think for this one, you could probably tell that this is NITE, night. That one M, but some could probably mistake that for an HO, and it kind of it just looks like it's like a box, a rectangular, or something like that. So for the chain, this middle part right here, um, obviously I didn't want it to look particularly blank, as in no dynamic way of getting it to stick out more. Um, so obviously with the gem stickers here, this is what I did with that. So just put those there along with this part, so that way it would at least somewhat shine out. And then I believe I also used some I can't remember what type of paint I used for that. I think it's not acrylic paint, something else. I'd have to go back and check and see because I know I have it, but I don't know the exact name. But I think it's like metallic, like a metallic paint more so. So here's where I screwed up on right here because, like I said, with the P, I did the same thing with the R on this one too, and I was gonna use this, but I didn't think that far on how I was gonna do it and knowing how long it was gonna take. But with patience, things start getting better. So I should have used this gem stickers for that. So I obviously didn't go quite well, but like I said, first time, so I'm getting the hang. I'm trying to get the hang of everything and knowing what I want to use for everything. So that's that part, and then of course the other side as well with this. Obviously, a lot of gem stickers, and then trying to get everything to fit in here to make it look like it, the actual rectangle and all that stuff. So I figured this part would, if I was to draw this, I figured this part would probably be like maybe the easiest, maybe, I don't know, maybe the easiest to do. And then of course you have your 2x6 on here, your 2x6 snap-ons right here, and I did use leather. I used leather for this, but I didn't have any. Well, I had my sewing machine, but the problem was that I didn't have like the little spring part to attach into this the sewing machine, which is strangely weird. That the one I got didn't come with it. So when I tried stitching it, there was no I guess like attachments with the sewing string to get onto the fabric. And what I mean by that is when I started stitching, it wasn't actually stitching through the fabric. So what I did was I used a staple gun, and I just kind of stapled everything together so that way it'd be a lot easier to try to get these snap-ons on easier. But I took them all out afterwards and then just glued like the front part of the duct tape for that on here, and then just wrapped underneath. And I made sure there was space on the back for this particular snap-ons to show. So that's what you see right here. So I know this one's kind of out of place. I tried making sure that everything was, I guess, measured right. So I kind of did a good job with the other ones. I think it was just that one particularly that was a little higher up. So other than that, it looks good to me. I like it. I know others would probably agree. Some would, you know, critique it, give me improvements, which I always enjoy getting back. I need improvements on knowing how to make it better, and I know one of them is actually drawing it. But with this belt, it's difficult to. It's really difficult to try to draw out yourself because you have to make sure you get all the proportions right. So, um, like I said, this one took several months to make, and I finally finished. So let me go ahead and show you guys the back part of the belt. Sorry. There we go. So as you can see for the back part, so as you can see the back part here, I made sure I left some space on there for the snap-ons. Little, not too difficult to put together. At least for the snap-ons, these ones were a little easy. I think I used about maybe 2 to 3 things of leather for this to kind of make it flappy, so that way it didn't feel too well. I ain't gonna say way too light, but I mean it's still light, but regardless, to make it look good, at least for the most part. So that was that. And then, like I said, you can see all the duct tape that I pretty much wrapped around here. So if you were to ever take this off, the front part would be the most difficult because, like I said, I super glued it on there, so it's 9 out of 10 not coming off. So there, like I said, there is no staples on any part of this belt, so everything is pretty much all leather that you feel on both ends, even on the main plate, all that stuff. So, like I said, as you can see, obviously you don't see anything because, like I said, I use about 2 or 3 things of leather, and then I screwed these plates in with I think it was like I think screws, yeah, screws, and then nuts. So basically, so the end part that basically the screw driver would normally go in, I glued those onto the back end of the plates. So I glued those parts in, and then what I did was I actually had the leather go over it, and then I actually screwed those in and then glued that part. Well, actually, I didn't glue that part in. I just made sure it was tightly screwed in so that way it wouldn't come off. So I did that with that part. So I may start doing that a lot with these, with all the belts that I make. So that way, there's no means or ends of it coming off. So I may do that. It's probably what I'm gonna end up doing with that part. I'll have to check and see if it's possible for me to do it, because with this one I use styrofoam, so it's easier to, but I don't know if it's the same with cardboard. It might be a little difficult, so I may try to adjust and do something different with it, but we'll see. So there's the other end of it. All, like I said, all duct tape and glued through. The only reason I didn't use the other end of that part that I did with the other side is because obviously it made things a lot easier, at least for me. And I know, like I said, I super glued those snap-ons in so that way those ones wouldn't come off. So that's the only reason why you don't see it on that end. Normally, you would see it on that side, but I figured just to make it easier, and those ones were already, I guess, pre-snapped on because I used those on another belt. So just to make the process go a little faster, I just glued those on there with super glue. So more like gorilla glue, I guess you could say. But yeah, that is the title, and nothing's came off. Obviously, after I turned it upside down, because I glued everything on here, so nothing should ever come off of this belt at all. So that is my WWE Championship belt, DIY homemade belt, non-spinner, obviously, as you can see. Like you can see, the cardboard's already on there, and it easily comes off too. So, um, if anybody didn't want that part on there, they could easily take it off. Or if they wanted to add another logo on there, they could do that too. So, Tim, if you're watching this, this is for you. I finally finished the whole belt. Um, Hopefully you enjoy it. Hopefully you like the belt. So we are going to go over all of, well, not just go over it. We're just going to make sure we kind of go through all of it, basically. And what I mean by that is doing a championship display is what I meant to say. We're going to do a whole display on the belt, so that way you guys can see the whole belt, and then you can see it all light up as well. See the whole belt shine. So that is what I have for you guys today. Next week, I got something else for you guys. So hopefully you guys are excited. And I'm sorry for not allowing my face to be part of this content, but like I said, there are certain sacrifices that I have to make in order to make this video be the way it is. So hopefully you guys enjoy the championship belt display, and hopefully you guys critique me on my championship belt making. Should I make another one? Should I stop making them? What should I improve on? You guys let me know. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.